At first, I thought the world was badly generated, and then I realized it was breaking apart. Stranded on a chunk of desert, the sun was setting, no tools, no gear, and the mobs were relentless. I took down what I could, run from the rest, collected just enough to survive. Minecraft's always been about survival. Gathering, crafting, building, but none of that worked here. The crafting table betrayed me, my tools crumbled, even the trees gave me lies. Something broke. That was the new name of some of the blocks I picked up, and some of the items I tried to craft. No matter what I tried, they were useless, just there to take up inventory space. And yeah, this was my fault. I stole pieces of CrimeCraft source code, thinking that I could recreate it. But it all went wrong. Because this isn't Minecraft. Not anymore. Well, I mean, I'm just being over dramatic. But with what blocks I could salvage, I bridged across the void towards a village that I had seen earlier. The tears curled around it, but somehow the village here was untouched. I scavenged what I could, mostly wheat, but when I picked my crafting table back up, it didn't say something broke. It said, you broke this. I needed to get a better view of the land, see if anyone else had made it here, but when I reached the top of the hill, I saw the truth. There wasn't just one tear in this world, there were dozens. I needed a home base, somewhere safe where no mobs would be able to touch me, so I bridged across to another section of land to harvest its trees, and then dug down to where I'd seen a patch of coal, and carving out this little path for myself there, I discovered the next big problem. It didn't matter if chests were single or double, they wouldn't open. So all I could do was fit my items into barrels for the time being. At this point, I had to have lost almost half of everything I'd tried to gather. All to this broken glitch, trying to craft tools, chests, and barrels. With so much land missing, that meant less resources, and so I was afraid of all of the iron I was about to lose trying to make tools. And stone ones were already a pain. I knew I would need a space to grow food, so I opted to make the spawn area safe for farming. That way, if the worst case scenario ever happened, I'd respawn somewhere with enough food to make the trip back. So I started lighting the area up, and did my best to make it safe. Well, and of course, I didn't have enough torches to cover all of it, and so I went back underground. Which was also a complete disaster. No armor, basic stone weapons, and I also realized that with all the tears through the land, mobs had fewer places to spawn, and so they were more clustered in the areas left. Oh man, I got tired of respawning all the way back up the village, so while nobody was looking, I stole a bed for myself. Even though that still wouldn't fix the main source of my problem. I searched through every nook and cranny that I could find. There were lots of coal, but it took a while to find my first iron ore. Too bad it wasn't enough to make anything helpful. And right now, my biggest threat was every skeleton archer. God, it felt like everyone that spawned had an enchanted bow. But down there, I did finally find some more iron. And honestly, while these massive tears seemed to have taken out most of the ores that I'd hoped I would find, they brought something else along with them. In the middle of the night, I could look out across the void and see trails of lava leaking from distant openings. During the day, sunlight lit the cliffs from the sides like something out of a dream. I found another small patch of iron, returned to smelt it, and made some more torches. Instead of making a tool, I gambled on a bucket. Probably one of the most nerve-wracking moments I've had so far, praying it wouldn't just break and turn into another useless dirt block. With it, I set up my first farm and lit more of the place up. I didn't get many seeds, and they weren't growing very fast, but with a little bone meal goes a long way. A lot of my logs still turned straight into dirt, and then I was back into the caves for another miserable run. As great as it was lighting up the areas I'd been, it only made the deeper ones harder. More mobs and more danger. Although thankfully I did find a spot where I could sort of cheese it. I'd made it pretty far down and was collecting more iron when a storm rolled in. Thunder boomed all around, and one flash of lightning struck close. I'd never seen the world light up like this before. This was cool. When it came time to turn those bars into items, the stress kicked in again, but my first pickaxe was a success. I even found a trick that helped me work through some of the broken crafting, but then my iron pants failed. A third of my iron gone to the dirt. I kept mining, searching for more. My goal was to reach Deep Slate and start looking for diamonds. Once I had some of those and got started enchanting, maybe, just maybe these problems would fade away. But until then, it was more iron, more gear, and lighting every tunnel I dared to enter. I may not have found diamonds, I may not have conquered the caves, and I definitely didn't fix whatever's wrong with this world. But I made it back up. Up the winding staircase. The bridge was still up there, and the spawn area was nice and quiet. And that's everything that's happened leading up to right now in the CrumCraft SMP, the budget CrimeCraft SMP. Only because Finn hasn't launched CrimeCraft yet, and I'm still waiting for it to start. Finn, when is CrimeCraft starting? Give us more.